In the darkness of the night, when the wind blew through the trees, it seemed as if hundreds of people were whispering together. But the most terrifying moment was when those whispers first called her name. Character and beginning protagonist of the story is Sarah Miller, a 28-year-old photographer who came from New York. Her passion was to take pictures of the deserted nights of national parks, especially those places that ordinary people are afraid to go. A famous national park in Utah, most of which is full of tourists during the day. But as soon as night falls, the atmosphere there changes completely. Sarah arrived there in her Jeep with camping equipment. During the day, she took many wonderful pictures, red rocks, slopes, and deserted canyons. But her real goal was to spend the night. The first strange sound as dusk fell. An eerie silence fell over the park. Sarah lit a campfire and pitched her tent. Around 10 o'clock at night, as she sat down to write notes, a faint sound came from the wind, as if someone was standing far away and speaking slowly. At first she thought it might be wind, but there was a tone in the voice, as if someone was really talking. After a few moments, the voice was getting closer. Sarah's hair stood on end when she heard it. She lit a torch and looked around, but there was only trees and darkness. The magic of the forest, Sarah turned on the record button on her camera so that she could capture whatever was there. The sounds began to increase. Now it seemed as if 20 or 25 people were whispering from different directions. Some words were understandable, some were not. Stay here. Don't go back. We know you. Sarah's heart was beating fast. She went among the trees to see where the sound was coming from. But the further she went, the more the path changed, getting lost before she had marked the signs near her tent. But now, when she turned around, it was the same forest everywhere. No signs, no path. Suddenly, she saw something on her camera screen. A shadow passed through the lens, black, human-shaped, but instead of eyes, there was empty space. And immediately, the whisper came into her ear again. Sarah Miller, you can see us. Sarah started running. The further she went, the thicker the trees became. The moonlight was also fading. Suddenly, she saw a large tree ahead, with her full name carved in scratches on the bark. Sarah Miller, she was about to scream when she heard the sound of footsteps on dry leaves from behind her. Someone was slowly moving towards her. Sarah turned and looked back. In the torchlight, she saw a long shadow moving through the trees. It was not a human being, for its feet were not even touching the ground. Yet every time he moved, the dry leaves rustled. The whispers grew louder. Stay here. Don't run. You're already ours. Sarah was panting. She leveled her camera and clicked. A flash of flash cut through the darkness, and for a moment she saw dozens of shadows standing along the tree trunks, all with empty eyes, all leaning towards her. Changing direction, she started running back. Just get to the tent. Just get to the tent, she muttered to herself. But every path led her to the same big tree that had her name carved on it. Now the scratches on that tree had grown even more. Where before there had been only her name, now there were also dates written on it. Some dates from the 1800s, some from the 1900s, and all with different names. But the last scratch was fresh, and it read, Sarah Miller 2023. A muffled scream escaped Sarah's throat. The reality of the whispers suddenly stopped. The forest became completely silent. Then a single voice came. All the other whispers stopped. That voice was that of a woman who was standing very close. We were never able to get out of here, and now you, aren't either. Sarah turned on the light, and a woman was standing in front in old-fashioned clothes. Her hair was disheveled, and her eyes were empty. Her face looked half-burnt, as if it had melted in fire. Sarah's steps froze. The woman said as she walked forward, This forest is alive. It remembers us. Every name, every scream, every soul tried to run away. Sarah ran with all her might. She didn't know where she was going. Just the steps were moving forward. Sometimes it seemed like there was a path to the left, sometimes to the right, but every time she would return to the same tree. Now a new scratch was appearing on that tree. She saw with her own eyes as if an unseen hand had dug into the wood. Sarah Miller, found camera. Testimony. Sarah mustered up the courage to pick up her camera again and turn on the recording. Everything that was invisible to the eyes was clearly visible on the screen. Dozens of women, men, and children stood among the trees. All their faces were burned. Everyone was slowly calling her name at the same time. Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. Then the screen blinked, and only a line appeared as if someone had written inside the camera. You can leave. Sarah fell to the ground. Now all she could hear were screams and the smell of burning. Suddenly, a bright path appeared in front of her, as if the moonlight had made a street. She got up with all her strength and ran towards that light. As she ran, she saw that the trees were moving back. The air was opening up. And then, in an instant, she came to an open valley, where her Jeep could be seen in the distance. Sarah's heart started beating with joy. "I survived," she said. But as soon as she opened the car door, her eyes fell on the back seat. The same woman was sitting there, smiling, with burning eyes. We had said, "Sarah, you can't survive." Sarah's breath caught. The woman was sitting in the back seat, as if she had always been there. Half her face was black as ash. Half her skin was melted, and her eyes were hollow pits. Instead of closing the door, Sarah opened it with a jerk and started running towards the forest again. But as soon as she stepped outside, the scene changed. Now she was standing among the same trees again, the same big tree in front of her. And now a new inscription on it, Sarah Miller, trapped forever, living dreams. Sarah slapped her face, screaming loudly, "This is all a dream." But the whispers kept ringing in her ears. "This is not a dream. This is your reality." She sat down on her knees. Suddenly, the ground began to shake in front of her. The soil split open and burning hands began to emerge from it. Hundreds of hands, trying to grab her from all sides. Sarah tried to back away with all her might, but a hand grabbed her ankle and started pulling. At that moment, the woman reappeared in the forest. This time, she was not alone. All the shadows that had been seen on the camera before were with her. The woman bent down and came closer to Sarah and said, "This land demands sacrifice. Every century, some people are called those who set foot here can never go back." Sarah said in a trembling voice, "I did nothing. Leave me alone." The woman laughed coldly. "We all said the same thing, but now you will be with us forever." Sarah picked up the camera once again and closed her eyes and pressed the flash. As the light spread, everything disappeared for a moment. The sound stopped. The shadows disappeared. Not even the woman. She ran straight, breathing hard, thinking that maybe this time she would really be saved. Her Jeep was parked in front of her again. She quickly got in, turned the key. The engine roared. The Jeep started this time. She came out on the road. "Yes, I'm out," he screamed. The truth revealed, but as soon as he looked in the rearview mirror, his spine tingled. There was no one on the road behind him. Trees, valleys, nothing. The road the car was on was slowly disappearing. The same trees appeared all around. The radio turned on automatically. A whisper echoed in it. "Sarah Miller, you are ours." Now end with that. The car stopped. In the morning, when the National Park Rangers went out on their patrol, they found a burned-out Jeep in a part of the park. There was no body inside the car. Only a camera was lying there. When the Rangers played the recording from that camera, a woman's trembling voice was repeating over and over again, "If anyone is watching this, please don't come here. This forest is alive." The recording stopped suddenly, and in the last frame, only a tree with a fresh scratch was visible. Sarah Miller, 2023, claimed, and to this day, visitors to that national park in Utah often hear whispers at night. Some say they hear their names called, and some never return. If this story scared you, subscribe to the channel now. You will find more scary, heartbreaking horror stories right here. Subscribe and don't watch this video alone at night.